Howdy fellas, back out here in the shop. Hopefully with any luck, I know I keep saying this, but fingers crossed it gets running today. And I'm gonna go ahead, I finally got the rockers in. The rocker studs, the two I've been waiting on in the mail. Right there, I got them on. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the rockers now, then put the valve covers on and see if we can get it fired up. I just put another 4 gallons of transmission fluid in there, so we got 8 gallons now inside there. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a tripod while I go ahead and get all these rockers adjusted and go from there. So far, it's running. All right, fellas, I just shut it off. I just let it cool back down now, and then I'm gonna take the valve covers off, recheck the lifters, because they just sound like they're a little bit on the loose side, especially over on the passenger side. And I was checking temperature here. I'll show you. My cylinders aren't reading the same temperatures. This one's reading about 250. That one's reading about 270. No, 250, 270. Wait a second. Maybe they're reading better than I thought they were. 240. I thought that one of them was reading a lot hotter, like 300 and something, almost 400. That was reading about 300. About 300. That one's only reading about 200. 225. So these two right here are reading a little cooler than all the rest, or than these two. You know, for now I just got to get it dialed in, I think, and then I'll worry about which cylinders are running hotter than others. Could just be the carb, could be a lot of things. This carburetor is really old. I mean, it was old when I originally got it out of a salvage yard and put it on Frankenstein, and I rebuilt it then, but it sat on a shelf for over a year after I rebuilt, after I took it off Frankenstein. So I got a fuel pressure regulator and I have it set at 5 pounds. I don't know how accurate it is, but it goes up to 5.5 pounds. But fellas, I think that's some pretty doggone good news. Got those rockers installed. They seem to be holding up. I had to take off the entire passenger side, because when I was just cranking it over by the trigger switch, that I could see some of the rockers were just gently moving back and forth, like they weren't all the way tight. But most of them were. It was just a couple of them on there that wasn't, and none of them were even vibrating on the passenger side. But I think I'm gonna go ahead, now that this engine is ran, give each one of the rockers another quarter twist, another quarter turn down, and retorque all the head bolts, just to be on the, you know, after the engine's warmed up for the first time and you shut it off, after you put new head gaskets on, you're supposed to retorque. And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to adjust the rockers first, then retorque the head bolts, put the valve covers back on, and then fire it back up again. It should have cooled down by then. And see how it sounds. It's just, while it was running, it was idling fine, and I did go ahead and use the timing gun and do right there. The gun is all hooked up in the number 1 wire, and I have it set at about 15 degrees, I believe. It could be 14. It seems to be a little peppier right there, between like 14, 15 degrees. It sounds good. Stock is 10 degrees, but when I turn it down to stock, it just idles weird, kind of like low. I mean, it stays running, but it doesn't sound all that great. I let it run for about 5 minutes before I shut it off. I figured that was enough time to heat up the heads, heat up the oil, get old lifters pumped up, and then I'll go ahead and now redo all the rockers and double check them and go from there, guys. But this is some really good news. I mean, it fires up and starts. Now I just need to run the trigger wire back to the starter switch so I can start it from inside. And I got something to show you in a box, but I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the box and put it on the car before I show you. All right, so just give me a minute. All right, fellas, here's a surprise. Not a big surprise, but I'm really happy with it. So, yep, got a breather and a 2-inch spacer. And I couldn't believe the deal on Summit Racing that I got for this. They just had an incredible deal. 14-inch, 3-inch thick filter with chrome top and bottom, and it comes with the center rod to put it on for 20-something bucks. I mean, just an amazing deal. So I got it. I couldn't pass that up, guys. Oh yeah, and I got the barb put in that carburetor, the proper one now. When it finally came in the mail and I got it screwed in, and that's taken care of now as well. I really don't like the idea of the clamps, but since it's carbureted and low fuel pressure, not high fuel pressure, I'm not worried about it. And all the fittings are barbed. And they're the proper size fittings, not too big or too small, the ones that's actually supposed to go with the hose. I do not have the manual choke hooked up on this carburetor. I don't have one for it yet. So that's something I'll have to get, because when you're first trying to start it up, it seems like it doesn't want to start unless the choke's closed, and then you open it up after it starts and it stays running on its own. But maybe that'll clear up too after the carburetors ran for a little bit, and maybe some gunk in the bowls and stuff, who knows. But I am running premium fuel through it. I only have 5 gallons, so I'm not gonna leave it running for long times or anything like that, especially since I don't have any water hooked up to cool it. So for now, that's where we're at, guys. And anything else that I come up with for the rest of the day, I'll go ahead and show you. Take some videos of it. Oh, my son, he got that block completely stripped down, and seems to be in pretty good shape. That 454 block. He's got all of his pistons and rods separated in the box. I do not like their timing gear at all. It's plastic on the outside of metal. The actual gears are plastic that goes on the cam. That does not give me, what is the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. Well, it doesn't make me feel safe about it at all. But apparently there's been testing done with it, or they wouldn't have made it that way. So apparently it works. Just, I don't know, 100 horsepower, I bet you it'll shred that chain. That's my opinion. I mean, not chain, but gear. Whoa, sorry guys. My hands ain't what they used to be. They don't really feel things right. It's hard to tell if I'm holding something or not. Dropped everything, but it's part of getting old. All right, fellas, I'm gonna let you go for now. One more quick look at the engine. Let me get over here and we'll walk around. There's cleanup to be done. You know, the wires need to be put where they need to go so they're safe and out of the way, and not just dangle in places. I'm talking about the electrical wires, spark plug wires, you know, everything, and away from exhaust pipes and you name it. Looking good, it really is. Except for the colors, it's got like 10 different colors on the engine, but that's okay. It's mostly chrome, that's what matters. All right, fellas, you have a good one. I'll get this one uploaded to you. She runs, and pretty peppy too.